Hey guys, and welcome back to the Yoga Doc. I'm Leah Deutsch, founder of the Yoga Doc, and today we're going to be doing a flow sequence that is looking particularly at optimizing your baby's position from birth. Now this is something that you can do throughout the whole of your pregnancy, but it's particularly helpful if you practice this regularly from about 32 weeks. So the reason this is so important is because during our day-to-day lifestyles of the 21st century, we tend to live a more sedentary lifestyle. So we spend a lot of the time where we are seated in our desks at work, where we're sat in our cars. In the evenings, we spend a lot of time seated on our sofa. And all this does is to lead to that kind of slouch back position with our pelvis is tilted backwards and our babies are going to fall back into that more common back-to-back position, which is not the ideal position for us to be in when we birth. So, by moving into more of a forward and open position, we're going to encourage our babies to have that space to create a little bit more room and get them into that occipito-anterior position where the back of their head is facing forward, the back of the back is facing forward, and it's going to get you into a much more amenable position for birth. So in terms of props for today's practice, the only thing that you might want to have, again, it's not an essential item, or a couple of yoga blocks, or if you haven't got yoga blocks, a couple of cushions or a couple of books, just something that's going to lift you up and give you a little bit more support. So I'm going to pop these at the front of the mat for a little bit later. And we're just going to come into a child's pose to begin with. So toes touch, knees nice and wide, and start to ease yourself back. So just wriggling the hips from side to side, pushing yourself back with your hands, allowing the bum to come back towards the heels. Now this is where your block might want to come in handy, so you can always place your block between your heels and your bum to sit back on. Or another alternative is to use that block just on your forehead here. Again, you can use your hands as fists, stacking up one on top of the other to support your head. And just whatever you need to get there. And see if you can really reach your hands out in front of you. And then we're just going to take 3 deep breaths here. So breathing in deeply through the nose. And feeling the back of the ribs expand and open. And exhaling, seeing if you can sink your tailbone further back towards your heels. Taking another deep inhale through your nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Taking one more deep breath here, letting everything go with that last breath, inhaling, finding expansion and openness through the back of the body, and then exhaling, just letting everything go. As we start to shift the breath now back into a nostril breath, so breathing in and out through the nose, and beginning to walk the hands to the right side of your mat, and placing maybe the left hand on top of the right hand if that doesn't feel uncomfortable. And just take a couple of breaths here. Breathing into this pose, and then walking back to the centre. And taking over to the other side, placing the right hand on top of the left maybe. And breathing into this. And taking one more breath here. Really nice. And then walking back to the centre again and starting to push yourself back into your tabletop pose. So placing wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. Making sure your spine stays nice and long here, so the crown of the head is drawn towards the front of the mat and gaze is just to the end of your mat. Hips are nice and level here. We're just going to take a couple of cat-cows here. So we're just going to warm up the spine, inhaling, gliding the chest forward. Exhaling, tailbone tucks under, round through the spine and pushing through the hands. And taking another 3 here for 1 as you inhale. Exhaling, tailbone tucks under, rounding through the spine, dropping the head last, really pushing up, starting to wake the spine up with 2 as you inhale, shining the chest towards the front of the mat, opening through the shoulders, shoulders away from the ears, exhaling, tailbone rounds, and seeing if you can start to articulate each vertebra one on top of the other, and then exhaling, inhaling, opening through the chest, last one here. Opening through the chest, belly drops down, and then exhaling, pushing into the hands, pushing into the knees and the back of the feet, and then release. start to walk the hands forward to the front of the mat here. We're going to start to drop the chest down. So this may be your limit. You may just be resting on your forearms here. You may be resting on your hands with your forearms off the mat. You're basically creating that sinking down feeling with the chest. And at the same time, your belly is going to be falling forward towards the mat. So maybe you're here, maybe you start to drop the head down towards the floor. Maybe if you want to increase the stretch a little bit more, you slide your chin forward here and open and feel that intensification through the back of the shoulders, through the front of the chest. And here we're just allowing the belly to sink forward. So in our first of our forward and open positions here, we're just creating that space for your baby to move into. And taking 2 more deep breaths here. And then walking your way back up. I'm going to just take a couple of wiggles from side to side, so tilting the hips to the right, looking over the shoulder. And then tilting over the left, looking over the shoulder. Just taking 2 more on either side here, just waking up that lateral movement with the spine. The last one on either side, just moving fluidly with the breath. Really nice. And coming back to neutral, so we're going to move into our first downward facing dog, so finding that setup for yourself, spreading your fingers nice and wide like a big starfish, pushing the base of the thumb into the mat and index and middle finger point to the front of the mat. Tucking your toes, you're going to start to shift the weight back towards your heel. As you start to tuck the toes, push into the toes now, lifting the knees off the mat, and keep a really strong bend in the knee here. Now you might want your feet a little bit wider apart as you start to come up, accommodating your baby here. Keep that really strong bend in the knees as you sit the bum back as if you're almost trying to sit on the heels. So you're really pushing with the hands and not shifting your weight forward. Now come up onto your toes, straighten through the legs and feel that lift through the pelvic floor into the hips. Now bend the knees again and start to draw the heels towards the floor a little bit more. Do that one more time, inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, bending down through the knees, sinking the tailbone back towards the back corner of the room. Now just start to walk out one heel at a time. Maybe start to lengthen your stance a little bit here. And just move fluidly with the breath. And taking one more breath here, inhaling. And then exhaling. And just be still here in your breath for one more breath. Now we're going to kick the right leg up towards the sky and step it forward towards the front of the mat. So help yourself to get there if you need it. And this is where your bricks come in handy. So you might just want to support yourself here. And we're just going to come into a runner's lunge. So heel toe the right foot to the side a little bit further. Create that space for your baby. And then start to shine the chest forward here. So taking another breath. Start to feel that stretch through the front of that left thigh. And then we're going to engage the pelvic floor as we inhale. And then as we exhale, pushing into the front foot strongly, supporting yourself up into a low lunge. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up above the head, opening through the chest. And we're going to sink down, cactus in the arms. Inhaling, pushing up. Exhaling, sinking down. Really draw the elbows towards the back of the room. Inhaling. Exhaling. Doing that one more time. Inhaling, opening through the chest. And exhaling, sinking down. Now bringing your hands back down to the blocks. And you're going to walk the foot out a little bit further to the side here. And then you may want to bring your blocks to the front of the mat. Or you may want to just press into the hands on the mat, whichever feels more comfortable for you. And then we're going to start to come into our lizard pose. So this is definitely a contraindication if you have any pelvic girdle issues. It's going to be too much through the groin here. So if that's the case for you, just coming back into that low lunge where you're sitting a little bit more upright. And then just starting to come down into your lizard pose. So here, you're either resting your forearms on the blocks, or maybe even hands on the blocks, and really sinking down, or maybe you're coming all the way, resting
some little wiggles from side to side. So making these little circular motions through the hips, into the knee, into the ankle. So we're just kind of creating a gentle sort of rotation here, and then coming in the opposite direction. Little circles. And taking 2 more breaths. And breathing strongly, fluidly. And then gently supporting yourself as you come back up. And then just allowing that right leg to slide back down to the side. And tucking the toes and coming back up into your downward facing dog once more. Keeping the feet nice and wide as you need to. And allowing the hips to draw back towards the heels. Kicking the left leg up towards the sky, flexing through the heel, and then stepping forward to the front of the mat. So we're going to come into our runner's lunge to begin with, supporting yourself with those blocks if you need them, and really lift the chest nice and high here. So you're allowing yourself space for your baby, so maybe moving the left foot to the side, depending on how pregnant you are, how much space you need. And just taking a breath here, really glide the chest forward and open. One more breath. Really nice. And then engaging pelvic floor, pushing into the front foot. And as you exhale, opening up through the chest, coming up into that low lunge. Shoulders draw away from the ears. Imagine you're holding a big beach ball in your hands. Exhaling, sinking down, drawing elbows together. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing down. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, sinking that body down towards the floor. Inhaling. And then last one, exhaling. Inhaling, lifting up, really nice. And then placing the hands head down towards the floor. So bringing the blocks forward if you need them. And then heel toeing the left foot to the side of the mat, so creating that space for yourself. Untuck that back toe. And then just starting to find your way down into your lizard lunge. So I'm going to move my blocks to the side, but by all means keep them there if you need them. Maybe pressing into the floor, maybe resting on the forearms. And just taking a couple of little circular motions in one direction. Finding control in your breath. And then moving the opposite direction again. Taking just 2 more breaths here, allowing that space for your baby to move forward. Creating openness. And then supporting yourself with your hands as you come back up. Bringing the knees to come parallel once more, pressing into the hands. And then you're just going to come back into your downward facing dog once more. And from here, we're going to kick the right leg up again. Step it forward to the front of the mat. Now place the back leg down, so the left foot is coming down flat on the floor at a 45-degree angle. And then you might want to heel toe that right foot to the side again, creating a bit more space for yourself. We're going to come into a warrior one. So pushing into that front foot, inhaling, coming all the way up. And then we're just going to bring the hands to our hips to begin with. So sinking down and seeing if you can just square the pelvis off a little bit more here. So gently shifting that left hip forward. Now if this feels too much of a strain, then it's absolutely fine. You can create a variation of this pose and just allow the hips to point towards that left top corner of the mat. And sink down a little further into that front knee. Now from here, we're going to open the arms to the side like wings and then interlace the fingers behind and drawing down towards the floor. Open through the chest. If this is too much for you and you need some kind of strap or a tea towel sometimes works as well just to hold your arms together, then go ahead and grab that. Otherwise, inhaling, opening through the chest, and exhaling, we're going to come into humble warriors. So we're going to sink forward, again, we're creating that space for our baby. Allow the head to be nice and long. Push into both feet equally as if you're drawing the mat apart. And then start to allow the arms to come overhead. So we're creating a nice strong stretch for the shoulders here. And we're creating space for your baby. Lovely. And then exhaling, allowing the hands to drop down towards the base of the spine. Placing the hands on the floor. And we're going to drop that left knee and drop jog the right knee. We're going to tuck the toes, and we're going to come back up to a downward facing dog. Taking a breath. You can always come to child's pose if you need it here, just for a pause. And then left leg kicks up towards the sky, and step the left foot forward towards the front of the mat. So find your set up before you come into this. So right foot is placed down 45 degrees, left foot heel toes to the side, create that space for yourself. Pushing into big toe, little toe and heel of that front foot to create stability. And then inhale, engaging the pelvic floor as you exhale and push up, maybe supporting your knee as you do so to get there. And then we're going to inhale, bring the hands to the hips, exhale, sink down a little bit more. So you're rotating that right hip towards the front of the mat or towards the top right corner. Sink down a little bit further and draw the chest up. Inhaling, your arms like wings to the side, and then exhaling interlace using your strap or your tea towel, whatever you need to get your arms there. So we're going to open through the chest, and then exhaling, just bringing the body forward towards the front of the mat. Pushing into that back outer edge of the foot will help you to create stability here and support for yourself. And then as you exhale, just allow the arms to come overhead a little more. And taking one more breath. And then exhaling, releasing the arms and placing the hands down towards the floor, dropping the right knee and dropping the left knee. So coming back into your tabletop and either shifting the bum back over the hips and coming into your baby push-up from here. Alternatively, you can shift the hips a little further forward and the chest further forward and come into a slightly more challenging variation here with a baby push-up. And then we're going to just start to walk the hands at the back of the mat. Fingertips point towards toes as you lift up through the chest, opening up. Exhaling, drawing the bum down towards the heels. And stepping your hands forward towards the front of the mat, untucking the toes. And then starting to come back into your downward facing dog again. Allowing the heels to be soft here. And then bending the knees, starting to walk the hands to the front of the mat. And then bending the knees, starting to walk the hands to the back of the mat. Feet are really nice and wide here, give yourself that space. And then we're going to turn the toes out to the side. We're going to come into our Malasana squat here. So if you've got any issues and you're below 37 weeks with cervical incompetence, so where your cervix is a bit shorter or you've got a low line placenta previa, then do not come into this pose. So otherwise we're turning the toes out towards the side, heels in a little bit. And then we're just going to shift our weight back towards the back of the mat. And then maybe bring your elbows inside your thighs and bring your hands to prayer in the center. So alternatives here, if you're struggling to get your heels down, is you can use your blocks here. So having your blocks under your knees to give you a little bit more support here. And that just gives you that ability to come up nice and high and nice and tall. And from the front, you're going to be looking like this. So open through your chest, just taking one breath here. And then releasing the hands down towards the mat. And then heels toeing the feet back to parallel, but nice and bent still with the knees. And then allowing the arms to hang ragdoll and softening through the chest, taking a little shake, yes and no. And then slowly rolling all your way up towards standing, with the feet pressing equally down. Rolling through the shoulders, opening through the chest, heel toeing the feet back to parallel. And bringing the palms to face forward into Tadasana. Neck is nice and long. And we're just going to come into, so in tree pose here, we're just going to start to shift the weight into the right foot. And then start to take the weight out of the left foot as you draw it up. Now you can rest it on your ankle if you're struggling with balance today and tap the toe on the floor. Find a drishti, a point of focus that's not moving that you can use to focus your attention on. And then maybe bringing your foot to the calf or to the thigh, or maybe bringing it all the way up towards the groin here. And if your foot's towards the groin, pushing that foot in towards the thigh, and then pushing down with that supporting foot. Hands to the hips until you find your balance, and then maybe bringing the hands to prayer in the center of the chest, taking a breath, draw up nice and tall with the head. And then opening up through the arms, if your balance is focused,
Now, see if you can start to control your breath a little here, and that's going to help you with your balance again. So drawing in through the nose and out through the nose with your breath. And taking 2 more here. Last breath. And then coming back the way you came, drawing the hands back down the centre of the chest, draw the knee forward towards the centre. And then you're going to step up really wide with that left foot. So we're going to come into goddess pose, so bringing the hands to the hips, toes are turned out, heels are turned in, and we're just going to sink down into like a wide squat here. So if you can draw your chest up so you're not tipping your body forward too much here. And then opening through the arms, we're going to sink down, doing 3 squats here. So elbows draw back, inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, sinking down really strong here. Inhaling. Taking 1 more breath here as you inhale, push up through the feet. And then exhale, sink down a little bit more. And just see if you can hold this for a further breath. I know it burns, you're doing really well. And then bring the hands to the thighs, and you're going to sink the weight forward. So you're going to draw your left shoulder to your right thigh. Inhaling, coming up. And then right shoulder over to your left thigh, really nice. Taking 1 more here. Moving with the breath, nice and fluidly. And then coming back to centre. So turn the toes a little bit more parallel now. And you're going to start to walk the hands down the shins, bend the knees as much as you need to get there, and come to the floor. So here again, your block might come in handy, so place your block under your face if you need it, spreading your palm nice and wide, and you're going to bring your left hand to the block, and then start to turn your way up to look to the ceiling. And then exhaling, placing the right hand to the floor, swapping hands, and sweeping the left arm up, taking 1 more on either side. Moving with the breath, last one. And then here toeing the toes a little bit further together again, just to create a little bit more support for yourself. Hands on the knees, and then support your weight all the way up. So coming to tree pose on the opposite side now, so shifting the weight into the left foot this time. And then you're just going to start to shift your weight out of that right foot. So find that balance, that stability, find the drishti, and find your breath. And then begin to draw that foot to wherever it feels comfortable on this side, be it calf or thigh or up towards the groin. And then you're going to push down with that supporting foot. Maybe you've got a wall next to you for a bit more balance. And then bringing the hands to prayer when you're ready to, finding that drishti and finding your breath. Push down and draw up at the same time, nice long line. And then maybe bringing the hands up overhead, drawing the hands apart, shoulders draw away from the ears, and just take 2 more deep breaths here. Finding a stillness in that breath. And as you focus in, finding that racing mind starts to dispel a little bit, and you can find that balance a little more easily. And then exhaling, coming out the way you came in, drawing the hands to the chest, and sweeping the knee forward and placing it down towards the floor. So one final standing pose that we're going to do here is going to be a downward facing dog or dolphin pose on a wall, which is a really great one that's going to help you align your baby for birth. And this is something you can do also if you're in the early stages of labour. It can feel really nice. So coming to a wall. So you're wanting to take yourself against the wall. You're going to be about a body length away from the wall. So feet can be nice and wide here. Feet are parallel or turned out, whatever feels more comfortable for you in your hips. And then we're just going to start to bring the hands to the wall. And then just start to soften the elbows. So it's like a dolphin variation on the floor. So drawing the elbows towards the mat. And then you're going to start to shuffle the hands down so that your elbows are at the same level, just a little bit higher than your hips. And then you can cradle the hands here and allow the head to soften towards the wall. And then just start to take some nice circles here with the hips.
creating that lovely circular motion here that's going to help your baby just come down into the pelvis and allowing your baby that space to help turn into a position that's more comfy, more amenable to a vaginal birth, if that's what you're aiming for. And then just pausing here, taking 3 deep breaths. Breathing deeply, softening through the shoulders. And then just releasing the hands and supporting yourself as you come back out. And then just moving back to the back of your mat. So feet nice and wide once again. Toes pointing forward. Take a nice inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhaling, bending and softening through the knees and starting to walk the hands to the front of the mat. And then dropping the knees down, coming into your baby push-up variation. So either hips back towards the knees or shifting the chest a little further forward, and you're just going to come into your baby push-up, just a couple of inches there, pushing back up, walking the hands to the back of the mat. Fingertips point towards toes and lifting up through the chest. Exhaling, bum towards your heels. And then you're just going to walk yourself forward, knees wide, toes touch, and just come to your child's pose. Once again, just coming to where we started at the beginning of class. Softening through the head, maybe taking your block or your fist here as support, just noticing how different this pose feels now that you've been moving for a little while than it did at the beginning of class. And just take 3 deep breaths here. And then just working your way back up.
So just coming down now into your final resting pose, Shavasana. So you can use the Shavasana video if you don't know how to set yourself up for this. Maybe taking your left lying position or your supported 45-degree angle lying down. And I would really strongly encourage you to try and practice these sequences a few times a week in the lead up to your due date, because it's really going to help optimize your baby's position for the birth. If you found it helpful, then please do comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Have a lovely day. Namaste.
If you've enjoyed this class and would like access to more free videos, then don't forget to go ahead and click subscribe.